I'm going to tie a tie-down caddis, and I'm starting off with a green Caddis Outfitters 80,000 dry fly hook in the vise in a size 14. The thread that I'm going to use is an 8/aught tan, and I'll start that maybe the midway point in the hook shank. Just wrap that thread in, and I'll take the thread all the way down to the bend in the hook, or just where the bend starts, and that's where I'm going to tie in my tail. I'm going to use an elk hair, and this is a natural colored elk hair. I'll take off a clump that's probably about the same diameter as the gape in the hook. I'll clip it and remove any of that under fur. If you need to take a comb through it, sometimes that helps. And I'll remove any of the short or long pieces, and I'll put it in my stacker and align the tips. And I'll set it on top so that it extends just to the end of the hook, the overall size, or maybe just a little beyond. And I'll tie that in on top. A couple of good hard turns so it doesn't go anywhere. And when I'm pleased with that, I'll hold up these butt sections and then take a couple more wraps underneath. That'll help to pinch it a bit. Leave these butt sections long so that you can maneuver them through. Then I'll take a piece of hackle, and I've got furnace hackle here. I'll remove material from the bottom to expose that stem to tie in, and then I'll hold it on the side and tie it in. Again, working with that material there sometimes can be tricky, but I'll hold it back and tie it in. And then for the body material, you can use, you can dub this out. I'm going to use an Antron yarn because I think it's easier to work with, and I think the rest of it is going to be as buoyant enough to be able to hold it up, regardless of what you use. Should be about the same. I'll take this, I'll tie it into the front and all the way down and back up. And now I'll start to work at building out this body, and I want it to be pretty thick, so it'll take a couple of turns down and back. So make sure when you're clipping your Antron, you take enough to get you where you need to go. So I'll take it back up to my thread and tie it off and trim. And now I'll bring my hackle through. And then tie that off as well and trim it. I'll hold everything back, and I want to leave enough room behind the eye, so maybe the width of the eye here, leave that amount of space to tie this in, and then I'll pull this straight over. You can cut the top fibers if you want, but I'll just leave those on. I'm going to pull it straight over, and I want to make sure that it's centered over the top and that there isn't a lot of slack in it. And then tie it off. And once I have a couple of good wraps in, I'll take this clump and I'll cut it pretty much at the angle that my eye is. So I'll take a straight cut through, and then when I whip finish, I want to whip finish through these butt sections, and that helps hide the thread and keep everything really locked down. And I'll pull through and trim, and if there's any cleanup that you need to do around the eye, and then I like to put a touch of head cement on both the front and the back. And that is a tie-down caddis.